Afternoon, guys. So I am going to read a story about April Fool's Day. It's written by Kroll. And it is a 2.6 AR level. So for those of you who can, go ahead and try to take an AR test after this. So on April Fool's Day, which is today, Alice was scared to leave the house. She knew Horace the bully would be waiting for her outside. Not a good feeling. So, finally, she opened the door a crack and peered around it. No Horace. She walked down the front steps and looked around. No Horace. Well, that's a good thing. I don't know if you can see it, so I'm going to change that way you can, I guess, it won't be so hard for you to see with the light. So she marched right up to the front gate and flung it open. Splash! A pail of water fell on her head. Oh, Horace, wailed Alice as the water dripped over her ears and wet her whiskers. You are so mean. I like being mean, said Horace. April Fool, Alice. Not a good one. So Alice shook herself dry, and then she decided to go for a walk. She had only gone a little way when she thought she heard Horace whisper, Psst, Alice, I've got something for you. Alice froze. So Horace leaped out from behind a tree and pulled her tail. Then he chased her around the block until she hid under a bush. April Fool, Alice, she heard him screech. Oh, Horace, said Alice, why are you picking on me? Don't you have any friends? No, said Horace. Only you, Alice. I'm not your friend. Don't you have brothers and sisters? Nope, not one. You can be my sister if you want. I don't want to be your sister. Not when you're so terrible. I like being terrible, said Horace. Alice crept back to her house. She sat down to think in her favorite chair. Papa Cat came into the room. Why don't you go out and get some exercise, he said. It's a lovely day. I can't, said Alice. Horace is out there, and it's April Fool's Day, and he's playing mean tricks on me. That's not very nice, said Papa Cat. Let me talk to him. So Papa Cat went outside, and there was Horace leaning against the gate. And when he saw Papa Cat, he grinned. Hello, sir, he said. How are you today? Just fine, Horace, said Papa Cat. What's this I hear about you're playing mean tricks on Alice? I don't play tricks. I just want to play, and she doesn't want to play with me. Well, I'll talk to her, said Papa Cat. He went back inside. Alice, he said, Horace says all he wants to do is play. Why don't you go out and join him? He just wants to play, said Alice. That's what he said Papa Cat. So carefully, Alice opened the front door. Carefully, she crept down the steps and through the gate. Horace was waiting, and he yanked her tail. Does not sound like he just wants to play. Well, then he chased her around the block until she hid under a bush. Oh, Horace, she said, you are so bad. I like being bad, said Horace. So at that moment, Alice decided she had had enough. She sneaked back to the house, and on the way she thought about all the terrible things that she could do to Horace. She hoped that he'd stay away long enough for her to get that front yard ready. What do you think she's going to do? Horace, she called an hour later. Horace, are you there? Of course I'm here, said Horace from the other side of the gate. Why haven't you come out to play? Because I've been thinking about you, Horace, and I've been making extra special surprise for you. What do you mean surprise? Come and find out. It's all ready. So Horace opened the gate, and the bucket of water sitting on top of his head fell. "April Fool!" yelled Alice. "What the?" gasped Horace, stepping smack into the mousetrap Alice had placed in just the right spot. "April Fool!" cried Alice. "Ow!" yelled Horace, grabbing the mousetrap. But the mousetrap was attached to a string, and the string was attached to the branch of a tree. And as Horace grabbed the mousetrap, the branch dipped and an orange fell on his head. "Ouch!" said Horace, and sat down hard. "April Fools!" shouted Alice. So, when Horace had stopped feeling dizzy, he removed the bucket from his head and the mousetrap from his paw, and he looked up at Alice. He said, "Some trick." "Yeah," said Alice, "I thought so too. You're pretty good at tricks. You really could be my friend." "No thanks," said Alice. "Who's the mean one now?" said Horace. I turned and walked through the gate, slamming it behind him. All through lunch, Alice had worried about Horace. She was sure he'd be doing something to get her back. She was worried because she could hardly eat her frisky victuals. Can you think of a word that rhymes with victuals? So after lunch, Alice took a cat nap in the laundry basket. Maybe we should just nap all afternoon. Maybe Horace would forget about her. An hour went by, and then the doorbell rang, and Alice went to answer it. Horace was standing in front of the steps. Quickly, he held out a bunch of tulips. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm through with being a bully. Will you come out to play?" Do you think this is a trick, or do you think he's telling the truth? "Well, will you promise not to pull my tail?" said Alice. "I promise." "Or dump water on me?" "I promise." "Or chase me under the bush?" "I promise." "Then I'll come play," said Alice. They walked for a little while, and then Horace said, "Look at that big tree. Why don't we climb it?" They climbed up, then they played hide and seek in the branches and ran down the trunk. Seems pretty good right now. "Whew," said Alice, catching her breath. "That really was fun. And now, Horace, I'm going to pull your tail and chase you around the block." And Alice chased Horace. "April Fool," she giggled as she pounced on him. Then Horace chased Alice. "April Fool," he shouted. They ended up tumbling on the grass. "No more April Fools," said Alice. "No more April Fools," said Horace. "Only happy times," said Horace. "Only happy times," said Alice. From then on, they were the best of friends. This was a good story. So we know that this is about April Fool's Day, but really about friendship. So if you guys want to draw your favorite part, or anything you want to do, so it's all on you. Have a great day. And only do funny pranks, okay, if you're going to do something. Bye. Until next time.